There is a definite and infinite radio frequency through which everything in existence could perfectly communicate with one another. A state of harmony where the mind can effectively transmit messages irrespective of the species of this creature. A creature to very many limited humankind in the world could either mean a fellow human being or animals, either of the beast or the sea. But when you look very well at the universe where we find ourselves, you realize that it is a cosmos of creativity. The deeper meaning of creativity means a space occupied by creatures. The meteorite, the stars, the planets, however many they could be, the trees in the jungles, the grass of the field, the fish in the sea, even the rock, the stone, the sand of the shore, water, very important, mankind, animals, all of these are creatures. And their very existence, the very physical existence of all of these single creatures means that they emanated as a result of creativity. Creativity is an expression. Expression can either be in words or in action. Whatever the form expression takes, there must be communication between the creator and the creatures to make it look creative. And because of that singular connection between the creator and the creature, we establish that there must be a mode of communication that can link all of these creatures together. But religion, secularism, and the hustle and bustling of this world has limited mankind to the point where whoever or whatever does not think like them, act like them, talk like them, dress like them, behave like them, listen to them, is written off automatically. And we very much do this amongst ourselves. The people of this religious sect don't want to relate with the people of that religious sect because they have different doctrinal basis. So whatever they do on the other end, either they die or leave, it is none of the business of the people here. You must have heard one of your GO in Nigeria saying that for as long as he's concerned, no member of his own church will be affected by the novel coronavirus. So whatever happens to every other person, they are free to die. The same mentality and disposition we exert with other coexisting creatures in this cosmos and this universe. So we think the animals should be killed for our own good pleasure. After all, we could not communicate with them. We could not talk with them. We don't understand what they say. We don't even regard their emotion. We could cut down the trees, make whatever furniture we want to make with it. Furniture that will be invoked for like a few years, and then you put it in the storage and just burn it with fire. We are quick to sandfill our seas and our oceans because we want to increase in land. We're running from the bushes and the jungles into the water. How silly we can be as human beings. So we fish and we make dinners, and we have no slight sense of connection with all of these creatures simply because we could not connect with them. Not because there is no means of communication, but because we could not connect with them. Yet we have established the fact that mankind is just 1% intelligent more than other creatures. And how we make use of our intelligence is to first apply the major chunk of it, maybe 90% of our intelligence, into discarding the existence and the possibility of other coexisting or cohabiting creatures in this planet with us. I am trying to say here that you could talk to the trees and they will answer. I'm saying you could talk to the water and the water will store every single word of yours as a form of memory and give it back to you. You could put all of other things you existed with or you are existing with in this universe to work and be at your service, not necessarily by taking their life away. Religion will always lead you to the point where one life has to be taken. So Islam said you have to fight jihad and die because God wants you to die in war, and that's when He will love you. Christianity says that for God so loved the world, He killed His own Son. The depravity of mankind is to think that until a life is lost, then the one who owns the universe cannot be pleased. This is the spirit of life, not the spirit of death. Even though death is part of life, if you exist, you must also exist. Well, what is the initial plan and way of the spirit of life? It is for things to exist. So how you exist, when you exist, is not left to you, but it is the duty of the spirit of life to make sure you exist. Now, when existing, why do we not put the CO in front of the existence? Why don't we coexist? Must someone die? Must something go into extinct before we make a statement that we want to be alive or we're alive? So as a seeker, it is your duty all the days of your life to ensure that you not only engage with mankind like yourself, you also make yourself available for all of these things to communicate with, because there are wisdom you could learn from them. There are things they could teach you. Your dog is an emotional being. It has been trained to communicate with mankind. But when it is barking, do you hear what it's saying? No. You deduce what he wants by the countenance of its backing. And most times you got it wrong. So the dog will follow you because it knows that when they keep backing and you're not getting its message, there might be issue. So it just call you a fool and just follow you to do what you think it wants you to do. The same with babies when they are still little. You just figure that every time your child is crying, then they need feeding. So the child grew up thinking that crying means give me. But that wasn't what they meant. Or since that's what the people of the world see crying to be, maybe that's the way they want it here. And out of nothing, the child begins to now learn a bad habit that is already in existence. So I always tell people that things are not the way they seem. Always find out which one is true. So the ancient wisdom says, if you have faith, you can say to a mountain to move and be cast into the sea, and it will happen. And people think of it as a kind of miracle. That is an actual fact. Now, faith is now not what you use to get things. Faith is your optimum, or let me say the prime of your awareness or intelligence about your capability of coexisting with other creatures that is in this planet with you. Faith is the fullness of your divine reality. Faith is when you are able to communicate effectively to animate objects, inanimate objects in such a way that they like you like them, and they do what you ask them to do. Should I or shall I show you how to do this or practice it with you? No, you will call me a mystic. You will say I'm using voodoo, because this level of revelation is something new to human intelligence. So everything extraordinary makes the person who have discovered it look like a god. I don't want to be a god to you. And I do not want you to see me as someone that you will worship. But I am saying to you that your language necessarily do not need to be the language of communication in the world. But in the state of your mind, you can never be wrong. It has been practiced so many times. You want to talk to an animal, you want to talk to a tree, all you need first is to show love. Show love. Even the most wildest animal in the jungle can be tamed with love. A universal language that will make you be loved by others is to show love first. Always show up with some food to an animal, maybe like a lion, and you will develop the best form of fond relationship with that animal. And that first relationship is not a relationship where you guys can put each other to work. This is the relationship where you put yourself to work for the person you are winning over. And when trust is established between man and animal, what you call beast becomes friends. The same method, use it for a tree. Use it for whatever it is you want to use it for. Treat a water well, it will give you healing. Treat an animal well, it will give you friendship and possibly protection. Treat your environment well, and you'll be in health. That is communication. Being in tune with your divine reality so much that all that emits out of you is nothing but the communication and the language of love. And if you are privy enough to put your forehead on the forehead of any animal, you don't need to say a word. Whatever you are thinking in your mind, they are understanding. and they will do for you without pointing fingers to them or directing them. Feasting goes a long way. You get to know most of these things through your meditation and observation of the planet where you find yourself, and you realize that you are living the best form of your reality. So those who are really living life are not those who have cars, those who are living large, but those who know all that there is to know in this world. I wish to share more with you. I've taught so many series before, so on seekers and all that. You can go to YouTube, type Great Man Ayilara, subscribe, press the notification button, or you just come online with me on Facebook at the Great Man Ayilara. I'll be willing to receive you as my guest in this quest for knowledge. Not a mystical knowledge, not a cultic knowledge, but a knowledge that will give you freedom from both the fear of hell and the anticipation of heaven. Namaste.